Good morning, comic book fans. Welcome back to Comics in 5 Minutes. I'm your ever-loving host, Shorty. Today, we're taking a look at Wasp. The Wasp, in fact. The one and only, not really, Wasp. And it's an Al Ewing jam. And I want to explain my thoughts on Al Ewing before I get too far into this, because there's some of my customers called Declan who absolutely love this guy and will buy everything that they do. And I can kind of see why, because they've done some absolutely amazing things. Some stuff I loved. Their run on Hulk was an absolutely brilliant redefining of a classic character. Their Deadpool is the only Deadpool I've read and enjoyed in many a year. And their Rocket Raccoon is absolutely adorable, and everyone should read it. It's genuinely amazing. But they also do some stuff which doesn't really move me that much. At the moment, there's three brilliant British writers redoing the entire X-Men line and leading up to the big Sinister event: Simon Spurrier, Kieran Gillen, and Al Ewing. And of those three core titles, the only one I'm not reading is the Al Ewing one, X-Men Red, simply because the first issue was really heavy-handed, didn't have any kind of lightness touch to it, and I found it a bit of a slog to get through. So, when the new one by Al Ewing comes out, I'm always willing to give it a try, because I know they've got it in them to do something absolutely spectacular, something that's going to blow my mind and make me think about this comic book for years to come in the way that Hulk does. But after reading the Ant-Man one, I was on the fence still. It was a nice idea, like 4 different time periods, 4 different Ant-Men, really nice time travel mess around, but after the first issue I was like, I'm sure I'll get around to it at some point, and I've still not gone back to it because it didn't land as much as I thought it would. So doing the Wasp felt like a genuinely good continuation. It made a lot of sense. I was like, yeah, okay, you've done Ant-Man and Wasp. Even the cover layout, I like the fact that they're playing with what they'd done before. Clearly this is just him carrying on what he was doing in his own little way. Unfortunately, it very early on put me off a little bit, because it starts with something in the past, many years ago, in fact, as the caption will have you know. And the dialogue in it is at best stilted, at worst corny as all hell. It genuinely makes me think that no human being has ever spoken like this in the world. And I'm just going to read you a little bit out, the bit that sticks in my craw a little bit. This is Janet Van Dyne, by the way. It's not that I love. It's not that. I loved my father, Ant-Man. He was the finest man on earth. But I never told him. I never showed him never showed him how much I loved him. I don't know. I thought it wasn't sophisticated, I suppose. Now, obviously, forgive me, like, stumbling over the words a little bit there, but honestly, that doesn't feel like naturalistic dialogue in any way, shape, or form. The rest of the comic book, where it gets a bit more contemporary, definitely gets better in terms of writing. Obviously, the fact that it's set in the past many years ago, I think it gives permission to be a little bit archaic in sentence structure, but honestly, it feels like somebody reading a script for a melodrama rather than actually talking to another person. And throughout, it never really gets back to that naturalistic kind of dialogue. There's some nice pithy bits between Janet and Jarvis, which are quite well done, but again, it feels scripted rather than just people having a conversation. It feels like two people who both think they're the funniest, most charming person in the room, trying to impress each other rather than actually just being themselves. And this is a bit of a shame, because the story I quite like, and it uses some tricks that Al Ewing's really good at. There's kind of a retro feel to which I quite like. He's quite good at like picking a time period and playing around with it. And also, the actual canon history of these characters is interesting in ways which I really like. Again, it's something I know he does really well from Hulk. Basically, just dropping information in as and when it's necessary. There's no big, huge info dumps. There's no just over-the-top dialogue or box out text. It all feels like this is just the best way of getting people on board, so they're all reading the same story and all having fun with it. That's brilliant. But the writing it just never really impressed me in the way I thought it would. The artwork is kind of similar, unfortunately, because I do love the style. It's got a really nice boldness of line, which I really like, a lightness of detail, which two things when working together can be really effective, and it is. The colours are brilliant, and although the fight scene is impeded ever so slightly with some more kind of over-the-top declarative statement being delivered by the characters rather than just a pithy dialogue that keeps the momentum of the fight going, the dynamism of the fight does look good. But there's just a little problem I have with some of the artwork, and it falls into this idea I've had before of characters being like unique and distinctive no matter who they are, even if they're background characters, they should be their own person, and you can do this just by a few lines when you're coming to draw them. But in this we have two main female characters who are not related other than through marriage, but have very distinctively similar facial features. The chin, the nose, the eyes, the eyebrows, things which just... Honestly, if you didn't know it was stepmother and daughter, you'd think they were mother and daughter. And I'm not sure if this was done as a deliberate thing, like maybe they're leaning into something, maybe there's some twist in the tale I'm not seeing here. But honestly, on a first glance, it just made me think that this is an artist who has a set way of defining feminine characteristics. and sticks with it, even though it means two characters look quite familiar when they probably shouldn't, at least according to the story. So, yeah, stuff I liked, but stuff which stays with me and stops me thoroughly enjoying it, unfortunately. I'm still going to keep reading Al Ewing because the things he does that I really like, but I just need something which is a bit more of a complete story to really, really take it home for me. But that's it for me for now. I'm going to do at least one more review this week. I've got a couple of things I want to check out. So make sure you don't miss out. Hit the like, subscribe, do whatever you need to do on whatever social media platform you're watching this one. And if you feel like it, tell your friends about it if you think it's worth listening to. Until I see you again, though, look after each other, everyone. Stay safe.